Hey YouTube, so today we're going to talk about how I got my skin to go from this terrible cystic acne that you see here to the skin that I have today. So go ahead and click subscribe and let's get started.
Hey YouTube, it's me, Naturally88. Before we get started, I know you all have been waiting for this video. I've been waiting to do this video, but I just had to wait until the right time to do this video. This video will be all about skin, cystic acne, dark marks, hormonal acne, depression, anxiety that comes along with acne. So before we dive into it, I want you all to click subscribe right now. Click it because I will be giving tips consistently forever and ever on how to keep your skin lovely. Okay, let's get started. So I would say back in 2018 is when I first noticed my skin going crazy. I had not really had skin issues before then, with the exception of like maybe in high school, you know, when you go through that weird hormonal change or whatever and your skin kind of breaks out. So I broke out like in my T-zone, like my chin area and here. Around the time I was maybe 16, 17. But other than that, I've never had skin issues. I've actually kind of always, you know, just been known for having clear skin. So fast forward all throughout my life until 2018. In 2018, I all of a sudden started getting really bad acne, and I got it like here. It was like here the most. There was a little in my forehead area, but for the most part it was here and here. So I couldn't figure out what was going on, or at least I was too distracted by life at the time to even think about what was going on. So it flared up a little in 2018. Now, lifestyle wise, in 2018, I was in a relationship, and in that relationship I was eating really unhealthy. We were drinking excessively, and when I say drinking excessively, like we drank so much, like so much, like almost every day was a drinking day. We would drink with every meal. We would drink at lunch. We would drink in the morning time when we could breakfast. We would just drink, and we would eat really poorly. On top of eating poorly and drinking excessively, it was also a very toxic relationship situation. So there was a lot of stress involved in that situation. So you pair stress with poor eating habits and poor drinking, and it's a recipe for disaster for your hormones. So in 2018 is when I first started noticing my skin like flaring up really bad. I could never control it. No matter what I did, I always had the same routine since I was like a young girl. I've always had the same skincare routine, but my routine was not working. My products were not working. These were like medicated products. They were not working. Nothing was working. I would just get these deep, very deep, painful, and I'll post pictures in the video. You can see a little on the thumbnail, but I would get like these deep, painful breakouts right along here, and it would hurt so bad. If you've ever dealt with cystic acne, oh, my chair adjusted itself. If you've ever dealt with cystic acne, then you know how painful it can be. It's so painful. They were red. They were sore to the touch. They were deep. It's not something that you can pop. Cystic acne is not something that you can just, you know, like something that's surface level where you can just pop it like a whitehead or a blackhead. And you shouldn't pop anything because it will leave scars. But cystic acne, as you know, is not something that you can just pop and it just goes away. It doesn't go away like that. So in 2018, I went through that relationship, and that relationship ended, and I kind of kept with the same like drinking and eating patterns that I was doing, and my skin never really got better. And then I went through a period where my cycles also got really, really heavy around the same time, like heavier than they had ever been before. Extremely heavy. Cycles, extremely painful. I could take pain medication and the pain medication would not work. Like that bad. Like going through sanitary items every hour. Like it was heavy, heavy bleeding. I was like scared. And I would notice also around the same time, now these are all the symptoms that I'm noticing around the same time, like I would have really bad night sweat in the middle of the night. I would when I would eat a meal, I would find myself like tired and sluggish, like immediately after I ate the meal. I just felt so bad. I had a lot of swelling in my face, a lot of swelling in my legs, my feet, my ankles. My body was just like swollen. I was retaining water like crazy. And all of these symptoms were lining up, but because of what I was going through with the relationship and with life and work and everything, running a business, I wasn't really paying attention to how all of these lined up until fast forward to 2019. Everything started getting worse. Like it was to the point where I was doubled over in pain when my cycles would come on. My skin had gotten so bad. Like I was in a severe depression about my skin. I had a very close friend of mine. She was getting married and I was going through it with my skin and my body. Everything was just off whack, just terrible. So that's when I stopped and I started researching like what was going on with me. And that's when I was able to educate myself on estrogen dominance and what causes estrogen dominance, what causes thyroid issues, what causes blood sugar issues that mimic diabetes. All of these things are like regulated with your hormonal system. So I started researching into that, and I was just tired. Like I was tired of being sad. I was tired of crying about it. I was tired of the constant swelling, the not having, not feeling like myself. Even if I would work out, I still didn't feel like myself. I still didn't feel light. I didn't feel happy, any of that. So I just went cold turkey with everything. And when I say cold turkey with everything, the more I researched, the more I realized that what alcohol does to your hormonal system, what some of the products that we use, like cleaning products, skincare products, makeup, what they do to your hormonal system. Of course, I learned the most what stress does to your hormonal system. And when I say hormones, I mean it affects everything. It goes past stress just causing depression and anxiety. Stress actually kills the body. It kills the balance of the body. It kills your gut health. Stress causes minerals that you need, nutrients that you need to deplete from your body. Your body kind of goes into survival mode when you're stressed. That's why they say stress can kill you, because it actually can kill you. So I researched that and I realized that I had basically created a recipe for inflammation inside of my body. My body was gone to shit. No other way to put that. Everything was gone to shit. Like my midsection was always puffy and bloated, and I'm tiny. Like I'm not a big woman. I'm petite. I had gotten up to 155 pounds, which I am 5 feet tall. So 155 pounds feels heavy. It doesn't feel good to be that weight at my height at 5 feet. So I basically went cold turkey. I stopped everything I was doing. I stopped drinking. I stopped eating gluten. I stopped eating all forms of meat. Every protein that I ate was plant-based. So I basically went vegan and gluten-free and dairy-free and alcohol-free. I mean, I didn't even drink wine. I went cold turkey on everything. And I know that sounds so drastic, and it was drastic, and it was hard at first. But when I started noticing my body changing back to what it used to be, then I started realizing, okay, my body it needs to reset itself. And I can remember like the first or second cycle, menstrual cycle, into me being vegan, gluten-free, alcohol-free, dairy-free. I was my cycles were like 4 days. 3 or 4 days and I would not cramp. Or if I cramped, it was very mild cramps, and it would only be the very first day. And after that, nothing. Like, I felt great. My energy levels was up, everything. So I did that for like 3 months. And the only reason that I stopped being completely vegan is because I dropped weight so fast and so much. People start asking me, was I okay? Like, are you okay? You look sick. You know, it went from I looked healthy and glowy to like I look healthy, but it's kind of like borderline on you look a little deficient in something. You know, like sunken in phase, just not looking plump and full of life. You can be healthy and still be full of life. Eat healthy, still be full of life. So I stopped being completely vegan, and I added wild caught salmon and like seafood, certain seafoods, not like bottom feeder seafood, but like certain seafoods. I added them back into my diet, and when I added them back into my diet, oh my God, when I tell you, things start balancing out so greatly. I was still having all of the goodness, you know, from like the good menstrual cycles. The swelling was gone, but then my hair started getting so thick. My skin was just like glowing, like glowing. It was crazy. Like I'll be 32 years old in a few months, and I feel like I don't look it or feel it either. Like I don't feel 32. Like my skin, my hair, my body, my menstrual cycles, everything balanced itself back out. People were like, what are you doing? You look great. Like I was always getting compliments like, you look great, and it felt good. And I want to emphasize though that I was eating right. I stopped drinking, but also my stress levels, like I introduced myself back to yoga. When I was living in Dallas, I did yoga. We got it for free with the company I was with, and I did yoga twice a week. And so I started back incorporating yoga into my lifestyle and just keeping my stress levels down. I know it's hard, like when you are working, you're taking care of family, you might be married, engaged, dating someone, taking care of kids, and going to school. Like we as women, we do so much. We put so much on our plate. But if we don't find a work-life balance, and a balance that includes keeping our inside balanced and calm and at peace, it will continue to wreak havoc on us. I get so many inboxes and so many questions about menstrual cycles, and just people dealing with menstrual cycles that just hurt so bad that they can't function, or bleeding so bad they can't function. It all goes back to what you're doing to your body and how you're handling your stress. Right before I want to back up, because right before I got to this point that I am right now, I was kind of getting desperate, and I had set up an appointment with a dermatologist. I had set up an appointment at my family practitioner, and because I was scared, like I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know if I had got some type of cancer or some type of thyroid disease, or like I didn't know what was going on, but my body was out of whack. And I ended up going to the doctor, and I really, really advise you, if you're having issues, go to a doctor. Like go see somebody who can do a full blood panel on you, because you can give somebody symptoms, but to rule out things like diabetes or a type of thyroid disease or cancer or something like that, go to a doctor and get a blood panel done. I went to the doctor last year, and they did everything. They checked every level that my body has. They did EKGs. The stress was causing me to have heart issues too. So I got diagnosed with a heart murmur also. They had to do an extensive EKG on me. I got diagnosed with a heart murmur. And it was all from stress and like alcohol and poor eating. From like that situation kind of planted the seeds that grew into something that almost really killed me. Like my body was shutting down on me. But anyway, I went to the doctor. They did the blood panel. By the time I went to the doctor, though, I had already started like gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, no alcohol. So by the time they did my hormones, like my hormone levels had already started balancing themselves out. They couldn't find anything wrong with my hormone levels, but they did find small fibroids, and they did find cysts on my ovaries, things like that. Cysts and fibroids and like endometriosis, like all of that, it kind of stems from inflammation. And I want to give a disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor, but even a medical doctor, because I have clients that are medical doctors, they can back me up and saying like that stems from inflammation in the body, and that stems from lifestyle factors as well as eating factors. So go get checked and let them figure out what's wrong with you. Now, it makes sense now, looking back, that I was having the menstrual issues because my body, because of all of the poison I was putting in the body and all the stress, my womb was unhappy. Like my uterus, my reproductive system was unhappy. It had started to form disease. If you look back, even before Western medicine, like your womb health kind of regulates everything in you as a woman. My body has started forming disease, has started forming cysts, has started forming fibroids, you know what I'm saying? And genetically, those things kind of run in my family. But my family, the women in my family, like before me, they didn't take the time to learn what causes what. So I was glad that I was able to start now finding out like what was causing all of the disease in my body. And I had started sharing, those things with my clients, with my friends, even with my mom who was older. I started sharing those things with her. But I said all that to say, when you are trying to figure out like what is going on with your skin, especially if you are experiencing cystic acne, start within first. These painful all over the body, that's the inflammation. That's what's on the inside of you coming to the forefront, to your skin. Your skin is like a sponge. It's gonna, whatever's on the inside of it, you squeeze it, it's gonna come out. Whatever you put into it, it's also gonna absorb that. So a lot of people ask me like, okay, well, like, what did you eat? What were you doing? Like, I went to steel cut oats for breakfast. I would eat fruits, but only certain type of fruits. I would eat fruits and vegetables throughout the day. I kind of followed some of the Chinese remedies of incorporating warm foods and herbal teas. I did a lot of broth, bone broth. You can get organic bone broth, or you can make your own. You can boil some chicken bones and make your own. But organic bone broth is high in protein, and it also helps regulate your hormones and just regulate your body. So I started doing a lot of bone broth soups with good yummy veggies in them, and I started doing herbal teas, and I still do all of those things to this day. I can't remember the last time I had a breakout. Herbal teas that I drink the most are dandelion root tea, nettle leaf tea, of course green tea, and I do chamomile tea as well. Ginger. I added ginger. I started cutting ginger up and adding it into my meals. And I would also buy the herbal tea and I would make like a tea cocktail. So I might do a ginger, I might do a nettle leaf and a dandelion root tea. And I'll put it in like a cocktail, and I will have that cocktail twice a day. Now, when you're doing herbal teas, you have to be careful, because drinking herbal teas, I found out, can cause you to start having some iron deficiencies. So you want to make sure that you're eating foods that are rich in iron. when you are incorporating herbal teas, because you'll start noticing yourself having some anemia symptoms, like being cold all the time, feeling really lethargic and stuff. You start depleting on iron. I learned that the hard way. Like I said, I got too healthy at a point and I was kind of like fading away. So whenever you decide to embark on a holistic approach, you have to really be careful and research in detail, and not just go by what someone like me tells you work for me, but also if you decide to do something like you, I suggest that you research in detail on what that is. I was a perfect example. I had started incorporating red raspberry leaf tea, and I know a lot of herbalists and holistic people, when they make a womb tea blend, they will put red raspberry leaf. Red raspberry leaf tea is good for people who are low on estrogen. It helps your body to create estrogen and regulate estrogen production. If you're trying to get pregnant, you know, women who are having issues reproducing, they drink red raspberry leaf tea. Well, if you are estrogen dominant like I was, it's going to have the opposite effect, and it's going to really make you have some really, really, really bad cramps, because you're drinking that tea and your body is, you're already producing too much estrogen. Your body isn't flushing it out. So you're drinking that tea and it's adding even more estrogen production to your body. So I was drinking it in my cocktail and I was like, man, my cramps, they're not getting better, they're getting worse. They just keep happening. What's going on? It was the red raspberry leaf tea. I eliminated that. I don't drink that anymore. I only drink nettle leaf. When my cycle is coming on, 2 days before my cycle and the first 2 days of my cycle, I drink nettle leaf and dandelion tea in a tea cocktail about 2 to 3 times a day. Also, during my cycle, I am I'm still very conscious about what I eat, but during my cycle, I'm extra conscious. And the reason I'm like that is because when you're losing blood during your cycle, you're also losing the minerals that are in your blood, the vitamins that are in your blood. You should be replenishing your body. I know it's so easy to give in to cravings and things like that during the time of your cycle, but it's so important that you're replenishing your body during your cycle. You need to be eating green leafy foods that are going to give you vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin K. You want to make sure that you're eating lean proteins. I personally am back pescatarian. I had started introducing chicken only from like certain sources, organic chicken from certain sources, back into my diet, but I'm back pescatarian completely because my body just performs best when I don't eat muscle, I guess you call it muscle meat. They refer to it as like muscle meat. So that's like your beef, your turkey, your chicken, stuff like that. My body personally performs best and I feel my best when I don't eat that. Wild caught salmon, it works for me. And I make sure that to make up for what I'm missing out of eating muscle meat, that I'm eating the right vegetables and fruits. And I also take supplements. I advise you to check or do extensive research before you introduce supplements into your diet. I personally take zinc, I take magnesium, I take zinc, magnesium, I take vitamin D, especially now. Vitamin D is so important for regulation of your entire body. And I know like now we don't even get to go outside as much, but if you can, you know, your body is going to absorb some vitamin D. But also having a vitamin D supplement won't hurt, because vitamin D deficiency causes so many issues in women that they don't realize. And that's why it's important for you to go get a blood panel, because you won't know unless you get your levels checked on everything. You won't know what you're deficient in, and you're not educated in knowing what you need. Like I was uneducated in knowing what I needed. So I take a vitamin D supplement, especially now. Zinc, magnesium, vitamin D. Sometimes I take a fish oil supplement for my omega-3s. I really don't feel like I lack in omega-3 because I eat whole sprout bread, which is fortified with omega-3s. And I eat, of course, lots of salmon, which is omega-3s, like the best source that you can get of omega-3. And omega-3 is what makes the hair grow thick and strong and beautiful, makes those nails grow, your skin, keeps your skin growing. Get your omega-3s in. A lot of foods that we eat, processed foods, contain omega-6, which is bad for you. Too much of it is really bad. I suggest if you have time, go research the difference in omega-3s and omega-6s, because the way society is set up today with fast food and processed food and junk food, like the chemicals, they literally like deplete you. I also am very careful with sugar. Outside of fruit sugar, natural sugars that occur in fruit, I'm very, very careful with processed sugar. I try not to consume it at all. Processed sugar depletes the magnesium out of your body. When you eat it, you literally lose magnesium, and magnesium is needed for your mind. Like, people don't realize God gives us the foods that he gave us from the earth for a reason. He gave them to us to literally cause us to function. Every system of our body, there's a fruit or a vegetable that matches with every system of our body, that promotes the health and wealth of every system in our body. So I'm not encouraging everybody to go vegan, because vegan for me did not work. But I will say, please be completely conscious. If you want to heal your body, your skin, be conscious about what you're putting in your body. Also, processed foods, the chemicals in processed foods and fast foods have been known to cause depression and anxiety, which if you're in a constant state of depression and anxiety, your hormones are constantly thrown off, which means if your hormones are constantly thrown off, you're constantly anxious, worried, depressed, you're going to start showing that in your skin as well. That's going to start showing in your skin. Alcohol is a depressant. I need y'all to understand this, because I know we live in a time where alcohol consumption is so, like, you know, it's the thing to do. And I'm a woman who enjoys an occasional cocktail or drink. My friends can vouch. Sometimes we'll go out, I have one drink. Sometimes we'll go out, I won't drink at all. I may drink like once or twice a month. And when I say drink, I mean like have a drink, maybe once or twice a month, because I decided to sacrifice that form of entertainment or time passing for my body to be the way it is right now. It's a huge depressant. So I would advise you to get to the core of why you're drinking as much alcohol as you are, instead of, because most of the time when we're drinking alcohol, we're not drinking it to really celebrate. Most of the time we're drinking to mask something or not feel something. I do another video on emotions and feelings and how that ties into what we eat and drink, but I would suggest, if you're trying to heal your body, if you're trying to heal your menstruation issues, please stop drinking. I know it's hard, especially if you're a person that's gotten accustomed to drinking like all the time. I know it's hard, but just for your body's sake, do it for 30 days. Make this the 30-day challenge. Give yourself 30 days of not drinking alcohol. Give yourself 30 days of not eating out. Let that be a start, because everybody can't go. You know, the military kind of taught me to be, I'm extremely disciplined in things that I need to accomplish. I can be extremely disciplined. So it's easy for me to go cold turkey, but that's not everybody's story. And I'm not here to judge you or say, you know, if you can't go cold turkey, XYZ, no. Do me this favor for you and just stop drinking alcohol for 30 days and don't eat any fast food for 30 days. Cook your meals at home. When I say cook your meals, don't buy freezer junk food. And I know that's hard because we buy it for our kids, quick meals for them to eat, especially during this time. It's like summer, they're stuck in between school. Find a way to cook your meals. Cook you some veggies, steamed veggies. I don't care what you do. Put them in the oven, grill them. Eat whole foods for 30 days. If you're going to eat chicken, if you're going to eat steak, if you're going to eat whatever, eat just that. don't season it with salt. Season it with herbs and spices instead, because sodium is too much. Sodium is really, really, really bad, and that's why a lot of us carry so much water weight in our bodies. Too much sodium in the food. Sodium is high in any processed or freezer food anyway, because it's a preservative. Try to avoid the sodium. Cook your meats, season them with herbs and spices only. I love cilantro. I love fresh garlic. I love peppers and onions. Things that I add flavor without adding salt. Do that. Eat your vegetables. Eat warm foods. I know it's hot outside, but if you can incorporate like bone broth soup in your diet, maybe once or twice a week, your body will thank you for that. Skin care, as far as fixing, and I don't want to go forever, but as far as what I did outwardly, skin care, I used benzoyl peroxide, which is basically like a antibiotic, a cream version antibiotic for any bacteria that's on the skin. So I used the 5% version by Neutrogena, and I'll try to take a picture and put that in somewhere in the video as well. That cream is only for if there is an active breakout on my skin. I wash my face with natural soaps that I create myself, like natural mixes that I create. I do a lot of natural masks that I create myself, like masks that you could ingest them and they're okay. A lot of masks, if you go buy a mask in like those little packets that are in Walmart or Ulta or other places like that, they contain so many chemicals. They are going to irritate your skin that's already irritated, it's already upset. Don't do that. I do a lot of turmeric mask. I will mix honey in with them. I do aloe vera mask. I have a mask for everything, and like I said, I make my own soap cleansers, and I also now make my own moisturizing serum to use on my skin. I make those myself and use them on my skin because I try to keep my products as clean as possible, with the exception of the benzoyl peroxide. That is like stronger formula for me to use if I have an active pimple. I keep my skin routine. I try to keep my skin routine as clean as possible so that my skin can heal and stay the way that it needs to stay with the absence of chemicals, because chemicals and, like I said, our skincare products are also hormone disruptors. So you're basically fighting against yourself. And so if you all have any further questions about skin, I hope that I was detailed as possible. But if you all have any more questions, please feel free to inbox me. Inbox me here on YouTube, inbox me on Instagram, inbox me on Facebook. Wherever you want to reach out to me, reach out to me. As far as my soaps and serums that I make, if you all would like for me to make those for you all, I could start making them for you all and selling them for you all. Just let me know. Inbox me or comment on this video when you see it pop up. Comment and let me know, and we can get this show on the road. I'm really excited for all of the tips that I have for you. The past 2 years has really been a journey, and I really learned a lot about just my body as a Black woman and a woman in general, and what our body needs. And I'm excited to just share that with you all. So go ahead and click this, like this, share this, subscribe. There will be way more videos coming. I might even do a video on, like me actually physically doing my skincare routine. Click subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye. You have a blessed week. Stay safe. Stay socially distanced, okay? This COVID is serious. Stay socially distanced. Thank you. Bye.